Mr. Transformers 96 here with another video review. This time we have Star Wars The Black Series Target exclusive Executioner Stormtroopers. So that's what I'm going to be reviewing here. Got a little setup going here of you know, like Finn being arrested. I think that this is how it's going to go down in the movie. My personal guess, just really quickly before I talk about the figures, is that that Finn goes in disguise from what we've seen of the Black Series figures anyway, and gets caught, and then is sentenced to execution, and obviously gets saved before it happens, I'm sure. The reason I think that, not only because we've seen Finn in disguise, the figure, is also on the back of these figures, it does give the bio, which doesn't just say that they're executioners for the First Order. It says that they're specifically executioners for traitors. And to me, that's like specific. It must mean that they're gonna try to execute a traitor. And obviously, the only traitor that the audience has an emotional connection to is Finn himself. So that is definitely what I think is going to happen. I think it's a pretty solid guess that that's going to happen. But anyway, let's talk about the actual executioners themselves, being the Executioner Troopers, Target exclusive. Did want to get a couple of these. I have a kind of larger First Order display. I'll probably make a video showing it before the new movie comes out. I've got a big display, and in order for my display to work, I've got to have an even number of troopers. So, you know, it does hurt the wallet that I kind of have to buy like at least 2 of every figure that comes out, or if for some reason I got 3, I got to get a 4th, you know, something like that. But anyway, you know, definitely wanted to get 2 of these Executioner Troopers. As far as these troopers in the movie, they're identical to the normal Stormtroopers. However, they do feature some more black detail, and then they have they have all of the troopers in this new movie have like a slightly different design helmet, which is reflected here in the figure, which is kind of nice. So let's talk about it though. Going over the helmeted head sculpt, looking very nice. It does have that black stripe on it. As you can see, it does have that black stripe that goes all the way down to the side. I think that does look very cool. Giving you a comparison with the Force Awakens Stormtrooper, as you can see, the helmet is slightly different. The chin section is a bit elongated, and then the mouth itself is at a sharper angle, as well as slightly thinner too. And then just in general, the paint on the helmet is shinier on this new version, which I like a lot. Now, unfortunately, the body, it kind of still uses a bit of the dullish look. However, it is more it's more of a shiny white than the original Stormtrooper, which I do like. So there is some slight updates there as far as paint's concerned. But overall, the figure itself, other than the helmet, because the helmet is a new design, although it's only slight, the body and everything is identical to the original Stormtrooper from The Force Awakens as far as its design. But as you can see, it does look very nice. You've got sections here. The shoulder pads are now black, and they do have the First Order symbol on them, which I think is very cool, and it's painted extremely well on both sides of the figure as well as on both figures, so that should be painted excellent on any figure. You've got a little white spot there on that thigh, which is disappointing, but overall it's painted quite well. Now I've seen like a bunch of these on the shelves too, and I went through them, and you know, there are a couple that have some issues. I would make sure you look at the black painting on the face sculpt on the helmet, especially, you know, above the eyes. I think that's the most important spot to look out for. However, just in general, I would give these a good look over before you make your purchase, because there can be some definite you know, paint issues. As far as his articulation, it's the same as the original one. He's got a ball-jointed neck with a hinge, so he can look up a decent amount. He can look down quite far as well, and of course side to side. Ball hinge shoulders, just hinge swivel elbows, which don't even go 90 degrees. You know, I was really hoping that they would redesign the Stormtrooper body for this new movie, considering that, you know, Black Series is pretty good with redesigning figures. I mean, like when they made FN2187, they didn't just use the old Finn head on an old Stormtrooper body. They resculpted the Stormtrooper torso, and then they resculpted the Finn head, which was unnecessary, but it was great, you know, and it was very welcome. So I wish that they did the same thing here, instead of giving us the same Stormtrooper body, because this body is very nice except for the elbows. The elbows certainly need to be double hinge, or at least have a hinge like the new Kylo Ren. The new Kylo Ren just has a single hinge. However, it's very far, it has great range. So I wish that they did that for this figure. It would have been so important. And by giving us a new design for the Stormtrooper, I think people would be a lot more into these Stormtroopers, and you know, it would cause me to buy more. So you know, I think that it would cause most people to buy more, even if they had the old Stormtroopers, because obviously obviously, you know, as troop builders, you can still have multiple of the same character on your shelf, and it's going to look fine. He's got a ball-jointed upper torso, which is excellent. I mean, the ball-jointed upper torsos have always been great, but especially on this figure, it's very welcome, considering you can use the ball-jointed upper torso to really help pick up the slack for the lacking on the elbow joint for poses. Then you have ball-jointed hips, which can go out to the side this far, then kick forward about this far. He's got a swivel at the thigh, double hinge knees, and hinge pivoting ankles. All of it works quite nicely. I will say that the knees seem to be like more of a ratchet. Let me see. Yeah, you know, going over my old Stormtrooper here, it doesn't seem to have that much of a ratchet effect. It's like, it's slightly serrated at the knees, but it doesn't ratchet very nicely. This one does seem to like completely be a ratchet though. There's certain points on the knees, so the knees should be a bit stronger. I never really had an issue with my Stormtrooper knees though, so I don't know if that was like 100% necessary. However, it's nice that they've done something. As far as the weapons concerned, give you a look at the weapons here. As you can see, they do look quite nice. I do like the staffs on them, and then the forward section does look excellent. My issue with them is that the handles are pretty soft rubber, because if like I've noticed that if you have the Stormtrooper displayed like this, and you have the electricity on and the weighted section kind of forward, it'll start to bend the thing. Like just from gravity alone, it'll bend it, which is super disappointing, and something that's so simple. Like just you know, don't use like a rubber staff. Use even if you wanted to use like a softer plastic, that would have been fine. But like they've used like practically a rubber. It's very disappointing. Really not happy with that. As far as the claw is concerned, as you can see here, it is a claw section which is on a hinge on both sides, so you can collapse it as well if you wanted to, which is very cool. We've seen this in the movie that they can collapse, you know, and they'll open. And I did hear that they'll spin as well. I did see that in behind the scenes type of thing, so that's kind of interesting. Oh, it popped out. What the heck? There's like no peg though. I don't know how this is supposed to go in. Oh, there you go. Okay, it's got some of the ball joints on the sides. They do seem a bit fragile just when you're handling them. They feel a bit fragile, so be careful. But overall, it is very cool that they do maintain articulation, and of course they do come with like a little electric pieces so that you can have it like electrified, which I think looks very cool. They are removable. I would imagine they might be a bit hard to get back on though, I will say, because you know I did have to kind of pull to get them off, but they're not glued or anything, and they obviously, as you can see, just kind of go on like this. But these are quite nice. I do like them. You know, I love the fact that they come with the electricity pieces. I will say, though, that I think I like them without the electricity pieces more, just because it's kind of hard to see what's going on here. It just looks more like a big circle. With this one, you can clearly see the design of the weapon, and the design of the weapon is very neat and very aggressive, so I definitely like that a lot. If the electricity was just going from the very tips of each of the claws, that would look a bit better. But unfortunately, it kind of like starts at the bottom of the claws and then like shoots up. So, you know, overall, I do like the electricity a lot, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to display these, with the electricity or without. I might display them one with, one without, because I like the one without electricity for different reasons, and I like the one with electricity. So it's kind of just you know, luck of the draw. You know, not quite sure which one I actually like better, because they're both pretty good. But overall, these are really cool, fun figures. I think that redesigning the Stormtrooper, or at least the Stormtrooper's arms, would have been so necessary and would have really helped bring a lot of interest into this figure. But I do like these in general. They're a nice new design for new troopers in the film, and they're really like the only new specialty trooper in the film, because you know, there's obviously just regular Stormtroopers, Flame and Snow. I don't think that there's any more new ones other than these Executioners, but I do very much like these Executioners. I hope that they have a cool scene, and I am excited to see them in the film. So there you go, that's my review of the Star Wars The Black Series Target exclusive Executioner Stormtroopers. Let me know what you guys think of them, and thanks so much for watching.